Hello, good morning. No, I haven't started. YouTube টা হয়েছে YouTube? Very good morning to one and all. It is a matter of great honor that the Internal Quality Assurance Cell of Vidyasagar College for Women, in collaboration with IQAC, Prabhu Jagatbandhu College, Andul, and IQAC, Acharya Prafullo Chandra Bose College, New Barakpur, we three colleges have been able to organize this one-day state-level seminar on artificial intelligence and Indian cinema. We are much indebted to our governing body president, Sri Vivek Gupta, our principal madam, Dr. Shutopa Rai, our IQAC coordinator, Dr. Tapon Rai, our external and internal governing body members for their wholehearted support and cooperation in organizing this seminar. The thrust area of this seminar, as you all know, is such an upcoming and relevant topic these days, as you all can understand. And I hope in the course of this seminar, we will have very interesting discussions and deliberations, as we have two very eminent and distinguished resource persons for today's event. Our first speaker for today's seminar is Dr. Manirul Islam, Head of the Department of English, Presidency University, Kolkata, and Professor Ashok Vishwanathan, former Dean of Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute, Kolkata, and FTII, and a national award-winning filmmaker. I have the honor and privilege to welcome both our resource persons, Dr. Manirul Islam and Dr. Ashok Vishwanathan, who is on his way and is about to arrive. Also, a very warm and hearty welcome to all present here today, my dear students, students from ABC College, New Barakpur, students from Prabhu Jagatbandhu College, and students and faculty members of Vidyasagar College for Women. I would now request our Honorable Principal Madam, Dr. Shutopa Rai, to inaugurate the seminar by paying our homage to Pandit Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar with a floral tribute. Our Honorable Principal Madam of Vidyasagar College for Women, Dr. Shutopa Rai, paying tribute to Pandit Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Our IQAC coordinator, Dr. Tapon Rai, Associate Professor in the Department of Mathematics, Vidyasagar College for Women, will now be paying his respect and honor to Pandit Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Dr. Monirul Islam, our eminent resource person for the day, Head of the Department of English, Presidency University. Sir, please could you come up to the dais? Dr. Mihir Dam, Organizing Secretary of this one-day state-level seminar on artificial intelligence and Indian cinema. He has been helping me to organize this seminar. Without Mihir's help, I couldn't have made it. So Mihir, it is now your turn to pay your homage to Vidyasagar. Dr. Shujan Sinha, Treasurer of the State Level Seminar and Assistant Professor of the Department of History. Dr. Molly Ghosh, Associate Professor, Department of Philosophy, and member of the organizing committee of this one-day state level seminar. Dr. Shamol Bhor, our bursar and Assistant Professor of the Department of Physics, Vidyasagar College for Women. And myself, Dr. Pradipta Mukherjee, convener of this one-day state-level seminar on artificial intelligence and Indian cinema, and coordinator NAC and associate professor in the Department of English, Vidyasagar College for Women. Ankita Dash, Ankita Bishwash, Assistant Professor in the Department of Economics, Vidyasagar College for Women. Thank you, all of you. May I now request our Honorable Principal Madam, Dr. Shrutopa Rai, to deliver the welcome note and set this state-level seminar in motion. Madam, could you please deliver the welcome note and address the gathering?
A very warm good morning and a warmer welcome to all the distinguished guests, esteemed scholars, teachers, and students present here. I welcome one and all to this seminar on the fascinating intersection of artificial intelligence and Indian cinema. First of all, I would like to welcome the two head of the institutions, Dr. Subroto Kumar Rai, Principal, Prabhu Jagatbandhu College, Howrah, and Dr. Syed Rafi Ahmed, Teacher in charge of APC College, New Barakpur. I thank you both for coming together with Vidyasagar College for Women in this collaborative endeavor to venture into a discourse take on the challenging future ahead. I also and the IQAC coordinator. Dr. Kakali Banerjee, head of the Department of Chemistry, will be representing IQAC Prabhu Jagatbandhu College. Next, I would like to extend a warm welcome to our who will enlighten us, Dr. Monirul Islam, head of the Department of English, Presidency University, and the very famous National Award-winning once he arrived. We are fortunate to get both of them I'm certain that the deliberate in the topic of today's seminar, artificial intelligence. I welcome all the teachers and students of the two colleges, and also those who have come from other colleges to attend today's seminar. I welcome my teachers, the non-teaching staff, and all the students. I would like to congratulate the members of the organizing team, Dr. Lisa, Dr. Shulan Shina, Dr. Shuman Bandyopadhyay, Dr. Molly Ghosh, Shanul Gaur, and Professor Raj Gattu of VCFW, and Dr. Kullan Sundar Tramunta of Jagatbandhu College, Dr. Shravani Bhattacharya from APC College. For doing their it gives me immense pleasure to stand before you today at the crossroads of two vibrant worlds, the ever-evolving landscape of artificial intelligence. As we gather here, I invite you to embark on a journey into a future where these realms intertwine, spark conversation, and redefine storytelling. Today, we embark on a fascinating journey where the sparks of human creativity meet the silicon circuits of cutting-edge technology. This journey explores the dynamic confluence of artificial intelligence and Indian cinema, two realms as vast and vibrant as the Indian subcontinent itself. Indian cinema, the very fabric of our cultural tapestry, has captivated hearts and ignited imaginations for over a century. From the melodramatic epics of Raj Kapoor to the high-octane action of Akshay Kumar, the names will sound familiar to all my students, and I already see a smile on your faces. From the poignant social dramas of Satyajit Ray to the dazzling dance numbers of Sridevi, it has mirrored our collective hopes, fears, and dreams. The names are all from old cinema, isn't it? Because I don't know the names of the present people who are involved in cinema. They are all names from my times. Anyway, now on the horizon looms the specter of artificial intelligence, a transformative force reshaping every facet of human existence. From facial recognition and crowd control to the uncanny realism of deepfakers, from personalized movie recommendations to the very creation of virtual characters, AI is poised to revolutionize the cinematic landscape. But this is not merely a story of technological intrusion. AI presents a multitude of opportunities to enhance storytelling, push creative boundaries, and engage audiences in novel ways. Imagine breathtaking special effects crafted by neural networks, intelligent editing algorithms, weaving narratives with unprecedented precision, or AI-powered robots performing heart-stopping stunts. The possibilities are as limitless as the human imagination itself. However, navigating this uncharted territory demands responsible discourse and thoughtful collaboration. We must ensure that AI serves as a tool to amplify human expression, not replace it. We must explore its ethical implications and safeguard our cherished values even as we embrace the dawn of this new era. This seminar, I believe, marks a vital step in that direction. Today, we will listen to the lectures of these two eminent personalities present amongst us. With them, we will delve into the intricacies of AI-powered filmmaking, examine its potential and perils, and chart a course for a future where technology illuminates rather than eclipses the magic of Indian cinema. So let us begin our exploration with open minds and eager hearts. Let us embrace the power of AI while cherishing the essence of human storytelling. May this seminar be a springboard for groundbreaking ideas, fostering a future where Indian cinema continues to thrive, infused with the brilliance of both man and machine. I congratulate the organizers for this wonderful endeavor and wish this seminar a great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Principal Madam, Dr. Shrutopa Rai, Vidyasagar College for Women, for your inspiring and motivating welcome note for this seminar. It was indeed very motivating, ma'am. Thank you so much for setting this state-level seminar in motion for all of us. Thank you for being with us today. May I now request Dr. Syed Rafi Ahmed, teacher in charge, APC College, New Barakpur, who has joined us virtually on our Google Meet platform to address the gathering. Dr. Syed Rafi Ahmed. teacher in charge, APC College, New Barrackpur, our collaborating institution.
Good morning, everybody. It is my privilege to be present virtually in the one state level seminar on artificial intelligence and Indian cinema organized by IQAC Vidyasagar College for Women in collaboration with IQAC Acharya Prafulla Chandra College, New Barrackpur and IQAC Prabhu Jagatbandhu College, Howrah. The invited speakers of the seminar are Dr. Monirul Islam, HOD Department of English, Presidency University, and Mr. Ashok Vishwanathan, Visiting Professor, SRFTI, and National Award-winning filmmaker. Respected Dr. Shutapa Roy, Principal, Vidyasagar College for Women. Respected Dr. Subrata Kumar Roy, Principal, Prabhu Jagatbandhu College. Dr. Tapon Roy, IQAC Coordinator, Vidyasagar College for Women. Dr. Anand Sarkar, IQAC Coordinator, Acharya Prafulla Chandra College. Dr. Arnav Gupta, IQAC Coordinator, Prabhu Jagatbandhu College. Respected Dr. Monirul Islam, HOD Department of English, Presidency University. Respected Dr. Ashok Vishwanathan, Visiting Professor, SRFTI and National Award-winning filmmaker. Respected faculty members, delegates, and students. There are two technical sessions of the seminar. In the first session, the speaker is Dr. Monirul Islam, and the second session, the speaker is Mr. Ashok Vishwanathan. We all know that artificial intelligence is the technologies that enables computers to perform a variety of advanced functions, including the ability to see, understand, and translate spoken and written languages, analyzing data, making recommendations, and many more. Now, my first question is how AI, means artificial intelligence, is used in cinema. Artificial intelligence is used in cinema to create props and backgrounds from scratch, significantly reducing production times and budgets. In addition to creating realistic visuals with speed and accuracy, AI technologies are now being leveraged for tasks such as stories and scripts and predicting the preferences of movie audience. The Malayalam film Manika is the country's first AI movie and also AI story. The motion poster featuring film's label actors has already caught the attention of audience, which has stirred the industry. Now, another question arises, which is very important, I suppose. Why AI, artificial intelligence, is good for film studies? What are the positive points? The answer for this question is that the artificial intelligence systems can identify high action and emotional movie scenes and bring them out to help editors make film. An algorithm can generate script, storylines, and plot suggestions based on data and patterns derived from existing films and literary works. By analyzing characters, dialogue structures, and narrations tropes, AI may be able to provide fresh perspectives and inspire filmmakers with innovative ideas. It can also help in improving the efficiency of production process in the entertainment industry and automate video editing, voice over, and post production tasks by reducing the time and resources required. There are some negative effects of AI-based cinema, such as automation for jobless, deep fake. Another point is privacy violation. Another point, algorithmic bias caused by bad data. Another important point, I suppose, is socio-economic inequality. Another point, market availability. Next, weaponization. And another important point, I suppose, is uncontrollable, self-aware artificial intelligence. And over-reliance on AI technology could result in the loss of human influence and lack of human functioning in some parts of the society. Now my question is, whether will AI replace film, or will artificial intelligence replace film? The efficiency, insights, and innovation that AI brings to the table can revolutionize the film industry. However, the heart and soul of the cinema making will always reside in the unique perspectives, emotions, and stories that human being brings to life. So, will AI replace human filmmakers? The answer is resounding no. I do not want to elaborate my speech anymore. The resource persons of this seminar will discuss this topic in a much elaborate way. I hope there will be a meaningful interaction between the experts and the participants present in the seminar. It will be immensely helpful for the entire fraternity and will emerge commendable creative ideas and knowledge through meaningful interactions. On this occasion, I convey my best wishes to the organizer for their untiring and relentless efforts in making the one state level seminar a grand success. Once again, my heartfelt gratitude to principals of both Vidyasagar College for Women and Prabhu Jagatbandhu College, two resource persons and IQC coordinators of 3 colleges, faculty members, and participants and students. Once again, thank you all. So I conclude my speech here.
Please, sir.
Is he done? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Sai, teacher in charge, Acharya of Prabhu College, New Barakpur, our collaborating institution, for this one day artificial intelligence and Indian cinema. Thank you, Dr. Ahmed sir, teacher in charge of ABC College, New Barakpur. May I now request Kumar Rai, Principal, Prabhu Jagatbandhu College, Howrah, Angul, to
Hello. Hello, am I audible? Hello. Hello.
হ্যাঁ স্যার শোনা যাচ্ছে
Okay. So good morning, everybody. Actually, the present day, not only today, but also from the long past, we have seen the technology debate, maybe between the old and the new. Similarly, the artificial intelligence, that is AI, is a new technology. Now the debate is going on whether what is this and whether it will be accepted or not. If accepted, what would be the impact on the economy and the society? These are the questions we are actually facing today. Practically, if we go it in a theoretical manner, then we know it. Is this artificial intelligence, this technology is the capital-intensive technology as compared to. I think that it is a capital-intensive technology means more capital and the less labor. So that it will replace the labor-intensive technology. I mean, instead of labor-intensive technology, we are going to adopt more and more, use more and more the AI technology. So, in different dimensions of our life, we actually, that try to minimize the cost. Definitely, in our country, and the other countries also, what is seen that if the technology is much more capital intensive, then the cost will be minimized and the hazards may be minimized. What is the cost? Cost means the cost of the technology. I mean the production cost per unit of the production. This is the thing that may be minimized. And on the other hand, there's the labor. They will be what may happen. They will be no jobs. I mean that when this type of AI technology, artificial intelligence will be used in different dimensions of our life, what will happen? That the unemployment will increase, rate of unemployment will increase, and the rate of employment will decrease. Naturally, now the question comes to us as an Indian, which is a developing country, which is known as the labor surplus economy. So labor surplus economy, then if we implement the artificial intelligence, then what will happen? The more and more labor will be unemployed. So this is not a welcoming scenario for us, but it's true that when long back or in the past, when we have implemented the computer technology, then same debate was happened. But in the course of time, what we have thought that if we do not accept the modern technology as compared to the old, if we do not accept it, then we may be in the backward position in the world perspective. So what to be done? This debate, what to be done? It is the factor which is to be done. I think that indiscriminate type of use or the implementation of the AI technology is not welcoming scenario in our in respect of our country, India. Okay, so we may use the AI in a discriminated way so that the labor, I mean the unemployment, should not be increased more and more. So how it can be done? How it can be done? How it can be done? It may be done. What I already told that through the use of the discriminated manner, through the use of discriminated way, the technology should be. Suppose in the Indian cinema, is a automation is required, the organization is required. If not, we will be in the back foot, in the world perspective, in the age of the global competition. Naturally, Indian cinema needs the update, I mean the up-to-date technology. So up-to-date technology doesn't imply no requirement of the human. Man. So man is also required. So we have to keep a balance between these two. Not only the more and more use of the AI and less and less the labor, but we should keep a balance. Ultimately, we can be at par with the world scenario. We can compete. We can in the modern world. So this type of artificial intelligence, it has so many points there. The impact analysis is there, and it is not possible now to explain everything here. So with this short delivery, and I am in the on the way now going to the Vikas Bhavan. So in brief, I may say that is those who have come here, they may enjoy definitely. It is a new dimension, new topic, artificial intelligence in the Indian cinema. I think that the expert speakers will come and they will tell it. So with these few words, okay, and thanking all. I mean the principal Sudhova Rai of Vidyasagar College for Women. I'm very much thankful to him because she has given our college, okay, a chance or collaborated with us for this seminar. So with this, not only the principal of Vidyasagar Women College, but to all the faculties of the Vidyasagar Women College and the non-teaching staff and the students and other collaborators and all the audience and all the speakers and the all present here. I am giving them the thanks and please enjoy and learn new thing and enrich your knowledge base. Okay, so thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Principal, Prabhu Jagatbandhu College, Howrah. Thank you for the welcome note. আমি এবার আমাদের বিদ্যাসাগর কলেজ ফর উইমেনের IQAC কোঅর্ডিনেটর ডক্টর তপন রায়, যার উদ্যোগে আজকে আমাদের এই সেমিনারটা হচ্ছে, সম্ভব হয়েছে ডক্টর তপন রায়ের উদ্যোগে। আমি আমাদের অত্যন্ত প্রিয় তপন দাকে কিছু বলার জন্য অনুরোধ জানাচ্ছি।
প্রথমেই বলে রাখি, আমরা অনেক সময় অতিবাহিত হয়ে গেছে, দুটো সেশন আছে, আমি দীর্ঘায়িত করবো না, সবাই বলেছে। তো প্রথমেই আমাদের মঞ্চে উপস্থিত আছেন আমাদের সম্মানীয় মাননীয় অধ্যক্ষা সুতপা রায়, ডক্টর সুতপা রায়, বিদ্যাসাগর কলেজের ফর উইমেনের। অনলাইনে আছেন ডক্টর সুব্রত কুমার রয়, প্রিন্সিপাল, Prabhu Jagatbandhu College, and Dr. Syed Rafi Ahmed, teacher in charge, APC College. এবং IQACB coordinator, APC College, Dr. Ananda Sarkar and Dr. Arnav Gupta. Sorry. Dr. Arnav Gupta, coordinator, IQSC, Prabhu Jagatbandhu College. দুই টেকনিক্যাল সেশনে ডক্টর মনিরুল ইসলাম, HOD, ডিপার্টমেন্ট অফ ইংলিশ, প্রেসিডেন্সি ইউনিভার্সিটি, এবং সেশন 2-তে ভিজিটিং প্রফেসর ডক্টর অশোক বিশ্বনাথ। এবং আমি ধন্যবাদ জানাই আমাদের অর্গানাইজিং টিমদের, বিশেষ করে ডক্টর প্রদীপ্তা মুখার্জি এটা অর্গানাইজ করেছে, অর্গানাইজ সেক্রেটারি ডক্টর মিহির দাম, ডক্টর সুজন সিনহা, ডক্টর সুমন বন্দ্যোপাধ্যায়, ডক্টর মলি ঘোষ, প্রফেসর রাজ দত্ত, ডক্টর শ্যামল ভর, ডক্টর কল্যাণ সর্দার সামন্ত, প্রভু জগৎবন্ধু কলেজ, এবং ডক্টর শ্রবন্তী ভট্টাচার্যা, এপিসি কলেজ। এবং আমাদের ছাত্রীরা যারা এখানে উপস্থিত আছেন, প্রভু জগৎবন্ধু কলেজের ছাত্রছাত্রীরা এবং এপিসি কলেজের ছাত্রছাত্রীরা, তোমাদেরকে আমি ওয়েলকাম জানাই। এবং তোমরা এই দুটো সেশনে অনেক কিছুই শিখবে ইন্ডিয়ান সিনেমা এবং আর্টিফিশিয়াল ইন্টেলিজেন্স সম্পর্কে। তো আশা করি এই দুটো সেশনে সাকসেসফুল হবে এবং তোমাদের যা রিকোয়ারমেন্ট, এবং তোমরা অবশ্যই কোশ্চেন করবে তোমাদের যেগুলো দরকার। আমাদের এই দুই কলেজের সঙ্গে একটা মৌ আছে, মৌটা মানে এক্সচেঞ্জ প্রোগ্রাম, কমিউনিকেশন বাড়বে আমাদের স্টুডেন্টদের সাথে, এবং আমাদের কলেজের সাথে। আরেকটা বলছি যে এই মানে এই সেমিনারটা করার জন্য আমি ফিনান্স কমিটি অফ আওয়ার কলেজ এবং গভর্নিং বডিকে ধন্যবাদ জানাই। আর কিছু বেশি বলবো না। সেমিনার সাকসেসফুল হোক। থ্যাংক ইউ।
Thank you, Dr. Topon Rai, IQAC Coordinator, Vidyasagar College for Women, for inspiring all of us to organize more such seminars in the future. May I now request Dr. Shubro Ghoshal, Coordinator NAB and representing IQAC of ABC College, New Barakpur, to deliver a very brief and precise welcome note. We are running very way behind schedule, so it would be very nice of you to keep your talk very brief and precise. So over to you, Dr. Shubro Ghoshal.
Okay, ma'am, thank you. As advised, I'll be brief. Hello and a warm welcome to all of you for showing your interest in seminar. On behalf of the IPAC of APC College, I'd like to express our appreciation to our eminent resource persons as well as our post-college and collaborating college. There is a Vidyasagar College for Women and Prabhu Jagatbandhu College. Now, reading the seminar, we've seen over the years there have been plenty of films where AI has been the topic of the film. Now, it's ironic that from the front of the camera, they are coming to a subject behind the camera. Now, as you're well aware, there has been a lot of debate on the creative opportunities that have come our way with respect to use of artificial intelligence-based tools in different fields. Now, the possibilities of generative AI is mind-boggling. It has special pertinence for the film industry. While ethical questions have been raised regarding the creativity of AI-based tools, it is also true that AI will be an enabling force for aspiring filmmakers with respect to access to previously unattainable tools. Therefore, at this critical juncture, I feel a bit of thought sharing on the effects of AI in cinema will be of great interest to students and faculty alike. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shubro Ghoshal, Coordinator NAB and member of IQAC, APC College, New Barakpur. For keeping to the time, thank you very much. May I now request Dr. Kapuli Banerjee of IQAC, member IQAC of Jagatbandhu College, Angul. She is from the Department of Chemistry to address the meeting.
Thank you. Respected principals, Dr. Shutapa Roy, Vidyasagar College for Women, Dr. Shubroto Kumar Roy, Prabhu Jagatbandhu College, respected teacher in charge, Dr. Syed Rafi Ahmed from APC College, New Barakpur, distinguished delegates, honored guests and audience, and of course my beloved students, a very good morning to you all. It is a matter of great pleasure and honor to speak on behalf of my coordinator, IQAC, of Prabhu Jagatbandhu College, and to wish you grand success on this one-day state-level seminar on AI and Indian cinema organized jointly by these three colleges. I also take this opportunity to congratulate the IQAC coordinators of the two other colleges who are involved, because organizing such seminars in future will be a great welcome from all of us, I think, and it will be enhancing everybody. So just a few words on AI and related technologies, because they are increasingly becoming prevalent in every facets of life, and cinema can be no exception at all. So from Bollywood, artificial intelligence powered tools enables filmmakers to analyze audiences, sentiments and trends. And definitely it is absolutely a thing of curiosity how these tools are being used these days in filmmaking. And of course, this will absolutely create an engaging narrative. I'm sure everybody will be enjoying this seminar. And we all know that in filmmaking, not a lot of hard work goes. Although we are just being entertained, but right from script writing to post-production, it is a lot of work that is being done. So we will be looking forward to what our honored speakers have to say on these topics. I wish this seminar a grand success, and on behalf of IQAC Prabhu Jagatbandhu College, I feel privileged that such a seminar is being held. So thank you everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Kapali Banerjee, representing IQAC, Prabhu Jagatbandhu College, collaborating institution for this one-day state level seminar on artificial intelligence and Indian cinema. With this, we declare the end of the inaugural session. We now begin the first technical session. Manirul sir is already here. As I have already mentioned, Dr. Manirul Islam is a brilliant scholar, a wonderful professor. I do not wish to read his CV from the Presidency University website. Whatever you want to know about Manirul Islam sir, please open Presidency University website and you will find his detailed list of brilliant and scholarly research publications all mentioned there in the website. So please go ahead, take a look at the Presidency University website for Professor Manirul Islam. You will find more about him, more about his research interests, and may I request the audience to remain a slightly quiet, please. Shilpi and others, please, quiet, please. Professor Manirul Islam is a very renowned and great academician. He is currently heading the Department of English, Presidency University. Without any further delay, I would request our sir, our eminent resource person, to deliver his talk, but we would like to welcome him with a small flower bouquet, which I hope he would accept from our college, Vidyasagar College for Women. I request our head of Film Studies Department, Professor Raj Datta, to greet Professor Manirul Islam with a flower bouquet. Thank you, sir. It is indeed an honor and privilege to have you amongst us all today, because we all know the current work pressure you are under because you are heading the Department of English of Presidency, and we know you are very busy, but thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule and coming and joining us, not just on the virtual platform, but being physically present here for this seminar. We remain indebted to you. Please accept our heartfelt gratitude for being with us here today physically. Thank you, sir. Now, as convener of this state level seminar, I just want to say one or two words about artificial intelligence and Indian cinema before I hand over the session to Professor Manirul Islam. Now, in the inaugural session, as you all have seen, that most of our eminent speakers and collaborating institutions, they have spoken a lot about artificial intelligence and Indian cinema. But me, myself, I am so much interested into cinema studies and film studies, though I hail from the Department of English. Professor Islam knows that I have done a book on literature and cinema and adaptation studies, and I do a bit of film criticism. I work as a film critic, and I write for the Statesman. Now, what I was wondering is, when we were trying to curate this one-day state level seminar, we were thinking like how to bring the two together, artificial intelligence and Indian cinema, because artificial intelligence is something which we do not get to see much in Indian cinema. We get to see a lot about artificial intelligence in Hollywood cinema, particularly more in Hollywood cinema and in world cinema. But how much artificial intelligence is being used in Indian cinema, that remains a question. And though it is gradually making its presence felt in Indian cinema, impacting various aspects of filmmaking, from script analysis, editing to special effects, and even distribution strategies. Now, AI is being utilized to enhance efficiency, creativity, and AI-driven algorithms, which our inaugural speakers were talking about today, are being employed for personalized content recommendations catering to diverse audience preferences. And as technology continues to evolve, the integration of AI in Indian cinema is likely to expand, influencing storytelling techniques and overall cinematic experience. Now, how far Indian cinema will be able to deploy artificial intelligence, I think all that, or has been able to deploy already in cinema, I think our resource person for the team will be able to, highlight more. And as a film critic, one who has been writing a lot on world cinema and watching good films, I've seen some interesting films on AI, which immediately comes to mind is 2001: A Space Odyssey, Blade Runner, The Matrix, Her, Ex Machina, the Terminator series, Minority Report, Wall-E, and Black Mirror. These are my, kind of movies for artificial intelligence. So, as I said, in Indian film industry, we do not have too many science fiction films. I think Professor Manirul Islam will agree with me. Indian film industry is not into making too many sci-fi films. We get to see more sci-fi film genre in Hollywood and in world cinema. So sci-fi is one genre which uses a lot of artificial intelligence. And because Indian film industry is not making too many sci-fi films, I think there the possibility of exploring AI becomes, it's a big question. How far Indian film industry is able to deploy AI? And as far as AI is concerned, I don't know whether it is going to pose a threat to humanity or it has already posed a threat to humanity. The challenges AI is posing threat to jobs, what human mind or say a content writer or a graphic designer can take 3 to 4 days to conceptualize, AI can do it in a matter of seconds. So yes, loss of jobs. And how many people can continue to still depend on the film industry for a livelihood? That remains a big question. I think all these, complexities and challenges will be discussed in the course of this seminar, this wonderful seminar that we have been able to curate with 2 other colleges, our collaborating institutions. And it is because of Manirul sir, Dr. Manirul Islam, that, we thought of this kind of a seminar on artificial intelligence in Indian cinema, because he has done a lot of research on this particular aspect. So without any further ado, I would like to invite Professor Islam to speak. We are very glad to have amongst us Professor Ashok Vishwanathan, who is visiting professor of Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute, former dean of Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute, and visiting professor of FTII Pune. He's a national award-winning filmmaker. Some of my English department students are already familiar with Professor Ashok Vishwanathan because we have had him for a talk on Shakespeare cinema a year ago in this college at Bhagwati Devi Shabhava, where he's sitting right now. We are delighted to have with us Professor Ashok Vishwanathan, who is also a very busy person, and he has taken time out of his very busy schedule, like Dr. Manirul Islam, to be with us at this state-level seminar. And it's not just a virtual presence, they have made us grateful by their physical presence at the auditorium of Vidyasagar College for Women. We remain indebted to the 2 of you. Thank you so much, Ashok Vishwanathan. Sir, may I request you to kindly come up to the dais and accept a floral tribute from one of our former students, Shomita Arti. May I request you to pay a floral tribute to Ashok Vishwanathan. She is our former student and a pass out from 2020 from the Department of English. So kindly take a seat. Okay. So now that we are delighted to have the 2, very well-known academicians, resource persons, scholars, and researchers, Professor Ashok Vishwanathan and Dr. Manirul Islam. I now formally hand over the session to Dr. Manirul Islam, Head of the Department of English, Presidency University, to address our students. Thank you, sir.
I have my machine with me. That's I don't know whether this will work. Yeah. And good morning, Professor Vishwanath. Yeah. I've heard already a lot of things in the past. But can you just help me to set this up? And can you just stop recording for the moment? Because the first thing is, I don't know, this is created in my Mac, so whether this PPT will work here. So if it works here, then I don't have to set this up. Or else I need to set it. The video clips, I think it will work. The video clips that I have, actually, that is something I need to work with.
So seminar presentation 1.
Yes, I guess so. But already it has made a copy, so there is some kind of virus. Just open it. This one. Just let me check one thing. Whether the video is working or not. That is what I want to check. No. Yeah. Fine. So can you just take it to the first slide itself? Okay. Steve, I need help. Please help me with this.
Okay.
By the time Varun sir is setting up his PowerPoint slides, I was wondering if my students have seen S. Shankar's Rajnikant Starrer and Kiran translated robot. Have you seen? And 2.0? Yes. Okay. And as you all know, there are also appropriations of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And Varun sir has done a lot of research on science fiction, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. So yes, Rajnikant's film immediately came to mind because you have robot and we are talking about artificial intelligence. So I think we cannot just not think of Rajnikant's robot at 2.0. But CGI girls is a very different concept. That's a very different concept. So we are not supposed to talk about Bahubali, because it's CGI. But AI, yes, definitely. We have a lot of examples from Hollywood. But as far as Indian cinema is concerned, more from the South Indian film industry, we have these two, which I was thinking about yesterday. So I think sir will, is there to highlight more. And it's such an interesting topic. So let's see. We will have very interesting discussions in the course of the seminar. Please wait first. Just a bit of your patience.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. I hope things are working fine. You can hear me. Now, yes. So, so I have to use microphone. So, I'm very thankful to Dr. Mukherjee, to the principal of this college, Dr. Sutapa Roy, and the other colleges who are jointly organizing this seminar, along with the members of the organizing committee to invite me here. Now, since I think 11 or so, I have been listening to the principals, especially of 3 colleges, talking about artificial intelligence and Indian film. So no, what I saw that Dr. Suta Pere, the principal of this college, was talking about the technological dimension of it. I think Dr. Syed Rafi Ahmed, he was talking about the social and functional dimension of AI. And then we heard Dr. Subrata Kumar Ray, who was talking about the commercial as well as the social aspect of artificial intelligence. Now, if you have heard them, if you have heard them speaking, then you, if it has registered with you, then you must have understood that what they have been thinking of when they were thinking of artificial intelligence and Indian cinema, they were basically talking about, what goes behind the, filmmaking process. So the role of artificial intelligence in the making of the films nowadays, what role AI plays. But unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know, I'm not going to talk about that aspect because primarily I'm not, somebody who has knowledge of the filmmaking, that how AI works and for the filmmakers and how in the process of, and how in the laboratory.
মানে এই স্ক্রিনটা বড় হয়ে গেছে নিচে নামছে না নিচে ওকে অপশনটাই আসছে না না নিচে আছে বড় করে হ্যাঁ
স্লাইড শো করো আমি করবো স্লাইড শো করলে আমার প্রবলেম okay fine. So what I was talking about is the role of AI in the filmmaking process. What goes on in the laboratory. I don't have much knowledge of that. I think Professor Vishwanathan is there. He might be enlightening us on that dimension. So what I'm going to do, I'm rather going to talk about how artificial intelligence is represented in the Indian film. How the Indian filmmakers is trying to make sense of artificial intelligence, okay? So it's rather that representational dimension, not on, the filmmaking process and the role of AI in filmmaking that I'm going to talk about, okay? The primary reason, as I said, because I'm neither an expert on AI nor an expert on film. Okay? I have some layman's knowledge of both these fields. Now, you might be wondering that then why I have chosen to speak on artificial intelligence. So basically, you see, I'm interested in the post-human geographies, in the post-human imaginary, the beyond the human dark. In critical thinking and philosophy, okay. So and then when you think of this beyond the human turn in critical thinking or in philosophy, then two primary areas of discourse. Two elements there. One is that relates to the non-human forms of life, and you might be familiar with the word Anthropocene and the debates around the Anthropocene nowadays. And secondly, it relates to the emerging forms of technology in the second machine age that we inhabit. So it's basically, due to my interest in the post-human imaginary, I was also interested in the popular imagination in the Indian context, that what the popular culture or the culture industry is thinking of when it comes to this post-human turn, and especially how they're say reacting to or responding to the emergence of the intelligent machines. So from there, in fact, my interest went into the Indian films and the Indian filmmakers who are focusing on artificial intelligence. Okay. Now, when I was trying to just check, say, the last 20 years of Indian films, and then just I could see, a number of films, in fact, a number of films being made with AI somehow at the center. And the student community and the other audience members sitting here, you might be familiar with some of them. So I have this Marathi film, Putro, which is very interesting, but I don't have time to talk about each and every film. Then you must have watched Ravan, then Enthiran, and this second part of it, and then Love Story 2050, Krish 3 especially. Okay, so these are the films that you might be familiar with, which had artificial intelligence, some sort of a machine or intelligent machine at the center. But as I said, I'm not going to talk about all these films. Basically, I thought that I'll be focusing on these three films. Okay, one is the Malayalam feature film, Android Kunjapan version 5.25. So, and then a web series, OK Computer, season 1. I don't know whether season 2 now or not. And then an Indian short film, which many of you, Hindi language short film, rather not. So, Onukul. And this you must have watched. It's a short film. Okay. Based on a short story by Satyajit Ray. Okay. So these are the films that I have thought of talking about. But before I move on to the films, let us get a bit familiar with AI, with artificial intelligence. I have been told by the organizers that I should keep my talk to the student level as far as possible to make things at least understandable for you. So see, if we just start with the question, then what is intelligence? Then what would be the answer? What is intelligence? If I just ask this, I was just checking last night the dictionaries defining the word intelligence. It's a very common word that we used in our day-to-day life. Now, the Merriam-Webster dictionary defines intelligence as the ability to learn or understand or deal with new or trying situations. So, the ability to learn, understand, and deal with new and trying situations. So, very simple. That is the first meaning of the word intelligence. And the second meaning given there is that the ability to apply knowledge to manipulate one's environment or to think abstractly. So this is intelligence. Now, when it comes to, we all have this intelligence. And we don't call it human intelligence, we call it intelligence. But when it comes to artificial intelligence, you can understand that when the AI has this ability that we humans have, okay, then it is artificial intelligence. Very simply, okay. So when the AI develops this ability, or a machine can walk like a human. So you can understand that, and So it's basically a simulation. That the AI is a simulacrum. Okay. So basically, I'm sorry. Okay. So I was talking about, yeah. So artificial intelligence. Now you see the word artificial is attached to intelligence here to mean machine intelligence. Artificial, obviously, you can understand, carries the sense of, something that is not human, rather something that is human created or man created. But generic man is very problematic. I mean, human created would be the better, phrasing for me. Okay, so the other reason you can understand that artificial because it is mechanical. So it's that orga-mecha divide, that we have intelligence that is organic and artificial because it is mechanical. It is not organic. So this orga-mecha divide seems to be working here when you define it as AI or artificial intelligence. Now, you see, now there are divisions. I mean, the people who are working in the field of AI, I have some friends who works at different organizations. They talk about AI, they also talk about AGI, or they talk about ASI. Okay. So AI is, you can understand, it's simply a very weak form of artificial intelligence. We call it weak AI. It is very good at a specific task. Suppose the caregiver robot or a sort of machine that is very good at a specific kind of task. And those machines have been used in industries for long, and nowadays it is almost universally present everywhere. Okay. Now, so that weak AI is something that is a reality. We are living with that AI. Okay. Now, what the scientists are trying to do, they're trying to develop a form of AI. They call it artificial general intelligence. So AGI, which you can understand will be equal to human intelligence. And humans are good at multitasking and different tasks. So the AI will be intelligent enough to deal with every situations. So that is what they define as AGI, or the strong AI. Okay. Now there is also this concept of super intelligence, ASI, and that will not only be equal to human intelligence, but will also be surpassing human intelligence. Okay. And then when that happens, the scientists call it the technological singularity. That is the moment of singularity. And singularity is a word from mathematics. I mean, people from sciences will know. I got it explained from my spouse who is from mathematics. Okay. So what is mathematical singularity? But we are talking about technological singularity. So it's a point of time when machine intelligence surpasses human intelligence. Okay. And it's a point of time when there is an AI explosion and machines will not be under human control. So the human oversight, in a sense, will be lost. So that is the moment of singularity. Now I have kept in two other words here. One is machine learning, ML, and many of you might be familiar with it. Data science, machine learning, etc. So ML is, how to define it? I mean, say ML is the way in which AI system, quote unquote, learn, or machine learns, okay, to accomplish a task. In other words, how as humans we instruct machines to be intelligent, okay. We create machine agent with some degree of autonomy. So that is ML, or machine learning, and this is very important. So AI in the first place depends on this machine learning, and for machine learning, the resource that is most important, or what the machine feeds on to develop its intelligence is data. Okay. So with each click of your mouse, with each like in the Facebook, in the Instagram, with each post that you make in the social media, you are contributing to the machine learning. You are contributing to the creation of artificial intelligence, making the intelligence smarter. Now, there are different processes of learning. I can't go into those things. Okay, so I wanted to have these basics discussed with you before I go on to discuss the films. Now, turning to the films, or rather, before that, to the other word that I have in my title, the spectre of artificial intelligence. Once again, you don't have to be afraid of anything. I'm not going to talk about Derrida's ontology, spectrality, etc. But when I use the word spectre, I primarily thinking of the ghostliness in the sense that AI is something that is still shrouded in mystery. So it is ghostly in that sense, and we are afraid of it. We fear it. Perhaps we fear it because we don't have enough knowledge of it. That is one of the reasons, and we don't know how to counter. I mean, this threat posed by AI. So spectre in that sense, and spectres also in the sense of this is in a sense omnipresent. It is both present and absence. But if I go into that, it will take me to ontology and Derrida and spectrality, where I don't want to go at all. Okay. So I mean, you're sitting there with your mobile phones. Suddenly, a message will pop up. You might be reading a book with all your concentration, but the AI will pop up, distracting you. So it's ubiquitous in a sense, omnipresent. Now, how much time do I have from now on, please tell me? Depending on that, I'll be talking about choosing the number of films.
20 minutes.
Fine. I mean, whatever is fine with you is fine with me. I'll, cut me short accordingly, because I think, our attention span has hugely got reduced after the pandemic and with our engagement with, different forms of gadgets. So I don't want to torture the students who are sitting here. So these are the films that I have been talking about. I'll be talking of here. Now, the first film that I'm going to talk about very briefly, 10 minutes, so say 3 films, 20 minutes, and then 5 minutes for conclusion. Okay. So this is the first film. This one, Android 5.25. This film is directed by Rathesh Balakrishnan, Malayalam film. The central role is played by Suraj Venjaramodu, if I'm correctly pronouncing the name. But you see, the film actually starts with Stephen Hawking in a coffee cup, or rather on a coffee cup. You can see a quote from Stephen Hawking used here. And Hawking was, Hawking considered AI a threat. And before he died, he was actually writing a book that was published posthumously as brief answers to the big questions. Okay. And in the book, in some chapters of the book, not in the whole book, there is deliberation on artificial intelligence. And this is a quote with which this starts. And the first scene, if it is visible to you, where this spectre fear, how this fear plays out. Is there a sound or something? It is not playing. এখানে কি সাউন্ড অফ করা আছে? সাউন্ড পেলো তো? এইখানে দেখুন তো। হ্যাঁ, sound টা আছে। Interesting. Comparing for old Bhaskara compared to the sun. But point of time comes when the machine has to be returned to the maker, because the machine was a kind of experiment. It was the Japanese topics was experimenting with kids, this kind of caregiving robots. Now, Bhaskara is so fond of the machines, of this particular machine, that when he comes to know that it will be taken back, he escapes with it, escapes with the machine to a forest. Okay. Now, the son obviously and the daughter-in-law, they pursue the old man to the forest. Now, what happens in the forest is very interesting, and there is something I wanted to actually, a clip I wanted to share with you, if that is possible. There is a long dialogue delivered by this machine. But the machine is trying to differentiate itself from the humans. It's saying that I am not a human, I am just a machine, and I am designed by a company for this program for this. And the company has the ownership, and the company has the right to delete every memory that I have. Okay. Bhaskar is obviously very distraught with this knowledge, but when and you see the machine is drawing back from Bhaskar. And what happens, there is a thief. There is a thief in the film, so playing thief. And he had, targeted the helmet, I mean the head of that robot from the very beginning. Now he has opportunity and he jumps on to separate the head of the robot. And meanwhile, Bhaskaran's son comes in and sees what is happening, goes to rescue the machine indeed. But what happens is, you see the machine also its self-defense system is initiated, and the machine mistakes the server to be the attacker. And the son is actually attacked by the machine. And the man who's trying to save it is attacked. Now, okay, so okay, so this is something I wanted to show you, but I don't have time. I don't want to. You can see that this is how machines are perceived in a sense and represented in the film. But I wanted to come to this scene. So that is the long talk I have been talking about. Now the man is distraught, learning whatever has happened. So this is it. You can see the film ends where it started. It's a kind of repetition of the scene it started with. But the thing is, I mean, you can understand that the fear of the machine is hauntingly present in the opening scene and the final scene. But the whole movie is not about the fear of the machine. Rather, it's a kind of interrelationship, a kind of camaraderie between the machine and the man. But you can understand this, why this is repeated. Why this is repeated? Because the director wants to, say, make it metaphoric, metonymic, signifying that we might consider machines our friends, but, we need to be aware of the ability of the machine to destroy, to get back to us. So this drop of fear is something that the director plays up in, even though the total narrative of the film, seems to negate. I mean, if you take the whole plot of the film, seems to negate this notion of the machines. And what you can understand, if you ask me the questions, if you ask the filmmaker the question that whether machine can replace the human servant or machine can replace humans, the companion, the clear answer is no. There is a clear rejection of the machine here. And you can understand that this particular machine is not AGI, it's an AI. It's a robot with a particular kind of training, particular kind of programming, particular kind of learning. Okay. But if we just move on to the next film, which I was proposing to talk about, I'll be very brief. We have lost some time due to technical errors. And you can see we cannot go very far without machines nowadays. Machines are so much part of our lives. Okay, now this is the web series that I have been talking about, OK Computer. Okay, it's a bizarre kind of absurd kind of, comic thriller, sci-fi comedy, something like that. So the genre is not very well defined. But also here, what do you see? The central character is a machine called Ajib, who can see one of the frames here. Now, say Ajib is a very intelligent machine. It's a kind of super intelligence. It's not merely intelligence. Super intelligence, and this machine actually goes a long way to make life livable. We said in Goa, it makes life livable for the humans because in environmental terms, in economic terms, in social terms, life is people are suffering so much. So the machine actually brings a kind of end to the suffering of the humans. But what happens after a point of time, this machine has a kind of existential crisis. Okay, the machine doesn't want to do what it has been doing for long. And the question that the machine asks himself, or you can say itself, is that who am I? And the machine becomes a kind of comedian, becomes what you call standing comedy. So standing comedian, that people are not unhappy, and Ajib as a machine is abandoned. Now Ajib comes back into the frame when a murder is committed, and the murder is supposedly committed by Ajib hacking a machine, hacking a car. Actually, now this is a post-Sesame world where machines are everywhere, and cars like Tesla cars are self-driven. So Ajib, it is the investigation reveals that Ajib has hacked that car and killed somebody unidentified. So this leads to the trial of Ajib. Now, what I am interested in this particular web series is the trial scene. Now, in the trial scene, there is an AI expert, who is also Radhika, actually, who is also a robot activist. Now, what happens is the court cannot try somebody who is a machine, or something who is a machine. If a machine has to be tried in a court, then the machine to be treated as a human person. So you can understand the kind of challenge to legal challenge these new machines are going. So what happens during the trial? Ajib is treated as a human person, and he is to be executed. He is indeed executed by electrocution. Actually, the machine is electrocuted, killed that way, destroyed that way. Now, what you understand when it comes to this particular trial scene is the question of agency. I mean, you see, it's not. The moment you consider the machine as a human person, treat as a human person, what you are doing is you are assigning agency to the machines. You are treating machines as the human. Now think if machine has agency, if machine has the rights and responsibilities like we humans do, and it's say ethical, legal, social, political, I mean all kind of implications. The kind of old order that we have, the moment you allow agency to the machines, this old order is going to be completely transformed. And this is this fear, you can say this, or this idea of how machine might completely transform the old order as we know it presently. This particular web series is playing on them or is concentrating on. Okay, so later on, what actually you see that Ajib is not the killer, and there is a resurrection of Ajib, and Ajib is given a kind of gets a kind of resurrection. He is resurrected and he becomes the CEO of a company. All the human character, I mean, in spite of having many humans who are experts in the field, it is Ajib who is selected. So what you see, it's just the opposite of what happens in that film Android 5.25. There you see the machine completely rejected, and here you see a machine is treated just as a tool for human use and can be rejected at will. But here what you see, that machine is not merely treated as a tool, rather the machine is treated with some dignity, and this machine is embraced more importantly as the future of say of the human species. Just as it happens, if you're familiar with Spielberg's AI or artificial intelligence, remember the final parts of the film. Okay. But it's more gross, so I don't like the web series, but because it does a kind of innovative treatment of the AI. That's why I chose to speak on it. Now, the next film that I'll be briefly talking about, and the final one is Onokul. Onokul, as you know, is a short story written by Shobji today, and Surya Ghosh adapted it, I think in 2017. Okay, now Onokul, the title and character is a machine, is a humanoid. Is a humanoid, and this man, you will see in the frame, and with the the yellow taxi, iconic yellow taxi of Kolkata. Okay, this man actually hires Onukul from an agency to work as a domestic help. Okay. Now, what do you see? I mean, the treatment of AI in Onukul is more grounded. I mean, more nuanced and more relatable compared to the treatment of AI that you see in Android 5.25 or in OK Computer. Now, once the machine, once Onukul, the humanoid, comes to the household, what you see is, the issue that many of the speakers at the beginning were talking about, the conflict between the humans and the machines, or the AI and the machine over employment. The humans and machines are vying for employment. And this man, Nikunj, has a brother who actually has lost his job. Not this clip. So I don't think all the clips are here. There might be some problems. So that, but Ratan, played by Kharaj Mukherjee, he has lost a job. Lost his job due to the machine, and things have escalated to such an extent that there is now an organization of the human servants opposing the machines. Okay, and this is the scene where you see, So you can see, how this conflict, and this is not a science fiction. This is a fact. I mean, nowadays, there is little gap between what we have traditionally considered science fiction and what we have considered as fact. I mean, the difference between science fiction and science fact when it comes to AI is getting blurred day by day. So this is not a fiction. I mean, if you just look at the data, and the kind of jobs that humans are losing to machines, the numbers are, numbers are huge. Okay. So, but you see, Nikunj here actually lies that he has not employed a machine. But when he comes home, you can see all the machine.
मुझे नौकरी से निकाल दिया तुमको मुझसे ज्यादा स्मार्ट टीचर कौन सर
So you see the irony. This man was lying. This man lied to the Kanjal Khatmal. You can understand Khatmal and training in Dengar and the use of the Khatmal. All these have implications. Okay, but we don't have time to go into those things. But you see, this Nikunj in this film is a teacher. Though in the story, Nikunj is a businessman. So here he is a Hindi language teacher, and he has lost his job to a machine. Okay, so and the sinister implication of this conflict is seen towards the end of the film. I mean, the penultimate scene of the film, where you see Onukul actually murdering Dr.
मुझे इसमें एक हाई वोल्टेज इलेक्ट्रिक शॉक देना लेकिन सर जब मैंने इसे शॉक दिया तो उसी वक्त बाहर सोचते बिजली हुई
बिजली से डर गया होगा
So actually, what you see here, Onukul kills murders Rautum, the cousin brother of Nikunj. Now, I had another clip, but I see somewhat it's missing. Where you see Rautum, he has been left jobless due to a machine. Now, what he wants to do, he has inherited a lot of money after the death of their uncles. Navar in Bharat, somebody called Navar in the film. Now, what he wants to do with all the money is to buy all the machines and switch them off. So Onukul listens to this, that this man will switch off all the machines. And when you consider, why Onukul decides to kill Ratu, then all of the causes, that will bother you is that, there's this conflict between humans and machines, and how machines are, trying to ensure a secure future for themselves. And Onukul, in a sense, I mean, that is one way to read it. There are several other ways. If you watch the film, you can see there are several other ways to read it. So, that is the one thing. The second thing is, you see, Onukul is Rautovan on his own. There is no human oversight. The company that created it is not controlling its action. neither the human master. And what you see, if you just watch a minute of it or more, then you'll see that there is Onukul seems to be taking over the reign from Nikunj. Onukul controls everything now, not Nikunj. So the control, I mean, this whole meta order binary, and the order being the superior, the human machine binary, the human being the superior, seems to be done away with when it comes to the final scene, and it is the machine who seems to see it control. So once again, what happens here? Just let us watch a few seconds.
इसलिए उनकी सारी जायदाद आपके नाम पर हुई
इतने इतनी से कैसे कह सकते हैं कि जायदाद
देखता हूँ
Just from here, look at this, Parambrata with blue shirt, in blue shirt, and the gestures, the way Parambrata. Okay, now you'll see the very calm and cool machine controlling and taking control of the situations compared to the humans. And very importantly, if you look at the color scheme of the film, then you'll see, there is a connection between the blue shirt or the blue attire of Onukul with, the blue color of Lord Krishna. Okay. And there is in fact, there is a scene in the film where there is a debate, there is a reference rather to the dialogue of Krishna and Arjuna in the Mahabharata, and that ethical question regarding whether Arjuna should go to the battle, and rather the question of dharma, I do understand it. Okay. Now when you look at this color scheme and the blue color getting highlighted, the blue attire of Onukul getting highlighted, you can understand that the director is trying to establish a connection between the blue colored god and Onukul. So the machine becoming playing a sort of god. Okay. But I'm sorry because I can't go into all those details with the paucity of time. Okay. Just to give me 2 more minutes. Okay. Now, so what do you see? I mean, the 3 films that we just have been considering. If we just think of these 3 films, then you see when it comes to the Indian filmmakers who are considering artificial intelligence or taking up artificial intelligence for representation, then AI is either a tool or a monster. I mean, or a superpower, maybe. A superpower, a machine with monstrous power that might work for the... Okay. So, the machine with, say, monstrous power that might work for the humans, or the machine just as a mere tool, or the machine as the monstrous other. So basically, this binary of the human and the order, the human and the machine, I think, or rather this humanist or the understanding of machine actually, that predominates the Indian films. Now, if you think from the machine perspective, if there are machines, I mean, who are really like humans, who have all the qualities that we even have, then the machines might demand equal ethical space, equal right from us. So if we have machines like that, like Ajit, or in the case here we have Onukul, So on the one hand, you can understand that machine with agency leads us to the question of ethics, to the question of law. And when it comes to the question of ethics and law, what I personally feel that, it is not enough to think from the human perspective, but, merely from the vantage point of being human. Rather, we also need to consider from the perspective of the machines. And let me end with some reference to Spielberg's film Artificial Intelligence. That Kubrick Spielberg film, Kubrick started it and then finished by Spielberg. Now, there, in the film, there is a child, mecha child, who is created in the kind of replacement for the human child. And when this question of creating a child who will unconditionally love the human parents, when this question comes up, there is a lady in the film who poses a question to the, director, to the CEO of the Cybertronics, that if we design a machine that unconditionally loves humans, then what responsibility as humans we have to the machines? Okay? So let us think of this. And with this, thanking everybody and thanking you people here for sitting out. I end. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Maninu sir. Thank you. It was very interesting listening to you about artificial intelligence and Indian cinema. Thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule. And you have been very comprehensive with your talk today. You have talked about artificial intelligence, starting right off with the meaning. So what is actually artificial intelligence? You talked about machine intelligence, you talked about machine learning, the difference between artificial and mechanical, the relationship between artificial and mechanical. You discussed in detail ASI, AGI, super intelligence, ASI, and how humans instruct machines to be intelligent. One very interesting point that I found in your lecture today is you talked about how artificial intelligence is still shrouded in mystery, the ghostly, the spectre. And I think you have given us enough reason to, think about this particular issue when we think of doing further research on AI and Indian cinema. And you have shown very interesting film clips from brief answer to the brief question. The last film that you mentioned, Onukul, the humanoid, which is directed by Shujoy Ghosh, and as you rightly pointed out, the story by Satyajit Ray. The second very interesting point that I liked about your talk today is you brought into debate, this very genre of sci-fi fiction, sci-fi films, which is related to AI and artificial intelligence. So you said that there is, because of the presence of artificial intelligence, there is so much of possibility of the sci-fi genre getting redefined. So we need to, redefine the very concept of sci-fi films, and our perspectives on looking at sci-fi films and realistic films are also getting redefined. That is something I found very interesting. And the third point that you really mentioned is about this human-machine binary that is getting done away with the presence of AI, with the deployment of AI. The binaries are getting blurred. And you talked about this very interesting concept of machine being the monstrous other, the concept of othering, machine is the monstrous other, and you very intelligently ended your interesting discussion with the films of, Spielberg, you mentioned Stanley Kubrick, and the films of Spielberg, of course, the master filmmaker. So thank you very much, Manju sir, for, discussing artificial intelligence in Indian cinema. This is such an innovative research of yours, and we remain grateful to you for your contribution today at Vidyasagar College for Women. I'm sure the students have enjoyed your lecture. And thank you, sir, again for taking time out of your very busy schedule from your university and Presidency University. And we are delighted to host you today. We hope to have you back in your future. I hope our students would be delighted to welcome you again at Vidyasagar College for Women. And on behalf of IQAC, on behalf of the principal of Vidyasagar College for Women and our collaborating institutions, APC College, New Narayanpur and Prabhu Jagatbandhu College, Andhra, I extend my heartfelt gratitude for being with us here today. Thank you so much, sir. A very big hand to Dr. May I now request our eminent resource person, Professor Ashok Vishwanathan. As you all know, many here they know about Professor Ashok Vishwanathan because he has been here already a year back, and he will be speaking on artificial intelligence and Indian cinema, mostly on Indian cinema. Now here you will get the perspective of a filmmaker and a film critic. He's a professor, he's a film critic, and he's a filmmaker. So you will get the perspectives of the three in one person. And these days, Professor Ashok Vishwanathan is just not into filmmaking and film criticism, but he's writing wonderful poetry. And one of his book of poems, Murmurs of Silence, brilliant collection of poems, was launched at the Kolkata Book Fair last year. And I was very happy to be a part of the panel discussion related to Murmurs of Silence, which has won accolades and has been, written critically about in international journals. His collection of poems, Murmurs of Silence. So we have a poet, a film critic, a filmmaker, a researcher on cinema who's going to speak to all of you today. We are thankful to you, Professor Ashok Vishwanathan, our national award-winning filmmaker, for being with us here today. Thank you for your time. I hand over the session to you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Many thanks to Vidyasagar College for Women and the other collaborating colleges for inviting me here to deliver this talk to you. I know we are running short of time. Can the hum be reduced, please? Hello, can you hear me? All right, let's keep it that way. Many thanks to Dr. Pradipka Mukherjee and the principal of Vidyasagar College for Women for inviting me. And Dr. Mukherjee has helped me in many ways, and we've collaborated on several projects together. Many thanks to her. She's an English literature person, but also very much into film. So I'd like to begin with a small story which doesn't relate to either artificial intelligence or to Indian cinema, but it might have some relevance later. The story is about a child specialist. You might have heard the story before because I've taken a class here earlier. The child specialist, the pediatrician in question, is a man called Dr. Benjamin Spock, very famous, internationally renowned pediatrician. He was very much against corporal punishment. He was against beating up children, beating up students of any kind. Very strongly opposed it. And everybody knew about his views. But one day, Dr. Spock had to do some repairs to his house. So he piled up some cement next to his house, and the street urchins there, they messed up the cement. Naturally, Dr. Spock was not happy. So he told the children gently that, please don't mess up the cement. I brought it here to do some repairs to my house. But the children didn't listen. They messed up the cement again. And now Dr. Spock was beginning to lose it. He shouted at them and says, "Do not touch the cement." But the children didn't listen. They messed up the cement yet again. And this time, Dr. Spock started picking up the children and beating them up. As he was doing that, a neighbor happened to be passing who saw Dr. Spock beating up children. And she said, "Dr. Spock, I thought you didn't believe in corporal punishment." Dr. Spock said, "My ideas hold in the abstract, but not in the concrete." In other words, ladies and gentlemen, we have many ideas. We have many inventions. We progress in many different ways. But along with our progress, with our entry into various new fields, there are problems because life is so complicated. Now today, you need to be politically correct when you say anything. 10 years earlier in this classroom, I could have said anything I like, but now I can't. Now today, any challenges that a person faces with regard to his intelligence, his brain, his mind, you have to say he is mentally challenged or that he's suffering from depression. You cannot use words like lunatic or mad. Although, as Dr. Islam knows, one of the great poems of English literature is the one written by John Dryden, poet laureate, the Spanish friar, when he said, "There is a pleasure sure in being mad, which none but madmen know." So also Hamlet says, "I am but mad north-northwest. And when the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw." And that's where Hitchcock got the name for his famous film, North by Northwest, north-northwest. So I'd like to look at the problem as a hydra-headed one, as a complex one. But first, I'd like to compliment Dr. Islam for his very interesting presentation. Extremely lucid, extremely pointed. And the point that he made ever so subtly, in spite of showing 3 films that showed to a certain extent a one-dimensional view of the machine, was the last point that he made, that unfortunately we in India, or we who are into Indian cinema, are looking at artificial intelligence from a humanist point of view. In fact, even the great Satyajit Ray was a liberal humanist. But we are in the era of post-humanism, as he rightly pointed out earlier. So can we also look at the other point of view? From the point of view of the machine. Now here again, I'm reminded of another story. You will excuse me if I am not always serious, because I know this subject is of a serious nature, but we need to sometimes go outside the serious. There was a veterinary surgeon, who had gone into politics. And he was always lecturing here and there on political subjects. Now, the members of his fraternity wanted him to come back to his profession. So they had a seminar in which he was a keynote speaker. And the subject was indigestion in donkeys. That was the subject. Indigestion in donkeys. And this famous speaker, who had gone out of the veterinary profession to become a politician, said, first of all, you must understand what indigestion is. Like Dr. Islam said, what is intelligence? He brilliantly pointed out the definition from the Webster Dictionary and then talked about artificial intelligence, saying that when that intelligence is the same that a machine possesses, then it becomes artificial intelligence. So this speaker also said indigestion in donkeys happens when a particle of food is swallowed by the donkey, and while it is getting digested through a process of peristalsis, it goes through the esophagus, it encounters a blockade and it cannot go further. Now let's look at the problem from the point of view of the particle. The particle finds itself trapped and it says, give me liberty or give me death. And then he went on to expound on liberty and death. So this is the problem with most Indian filmmakers. They start at one point and go off to another. It is said about mathematicians that a mathematician thinks A, says B when it ought to be C. It's like that. Well, I'd like to say first and foremost that the Indian tradition of cinema lays a great deal of emphasis on creativity. And we can see it from the very beginnings of cinema. You know about that wintry morning on November 28, 1895, when the Lumiere brothers used the cinematograph to show the motion picture for the first time. And people got up from the audience because one of the clips was train entering a station at Ciota. In India, we had Hiralal Sen, who made a film of Amarendranath Dotto's play. Amarendranath Dotto. Play was called Ali Baba. But unfortunately, it was nitrate film in those days and it got burnt. So we don't know him as the father of Indian cinema. We rather know Dada Saheb Phalke, Dungirao Govind Phalke, as the father of cinema. And Phalke wanted to work in mythology. And here again, it would be a wonderful kind of a arena if artificial were available to Dada Saheb Phalke. Because Dada Saheb Phalke did something very, very interesting. Not only did he show these mythological stories, Raja Harishchandra doesn't exist in its entirety, but in fragments, and Kalia Mardan, he also framed the film in such a way that you are aware that the audience is actually watching the film and revering the film. So he makes the looker also a part of that experience. So the narrative and the meta-narrative exist together. And what better tool than artificial intelligence to expand on Phalke's vision? We should try and really look at the strengths of Indian cinema. One of the reasons why Indian cinema is not so popular outside is that we try to mimic Western ideas, Western constructs. Professor Islam very rightly used the word simulacrum. Simulacrum, as you know, is a Aristotelian usage initially. It's kind of a copy of the real thing, a lesser copy. The example which Aristotle gave was not liked by my wife. He said, Aristotle said that the German Shepherd or the Saint Bernard is the real thing, but the poodle is not, but I don't agree, neither does my wife. All dogs are okay. There's no problem with that. But Baudrillard has defined simulacrum in a very, very interesting way. He quotes this story from Borges about a king who wanted to know exactly what was in his territory, and he designed a map. But when the map was made, the map covered the whole territory. So what was real and what was hyper-real? So we are living in that kind of a world. So first point is, I agree wholeheartedly with Dr. Islam that while there are dangers, there are pitfalls in utilizing artificial intelligence, it requires a more complicated outlook, a more problematic outlook, a more, shall we say, believable outlook to actually grapple with the machine. That is most important. And therefore, a post-humanist approach is very interesting. And if you look at Indian cinema, you will find that Indian cinema has got the scope to use artificial intelligence, not just as subjects or representation, but also as tools. But these tools need not just be tools. They can go beyond that. As has been said earlier in the inaugural session, there are areas where artificial intelligence can rule the roost. Color processing, sound designing, creation of characters. If you look at many of the characters being created, Dr. Mukherjee mentioned robot. Here, of course, I have a slight, shall we say, difference of opinion with the general view that these characters can create waves. Somehow the characters will finally behave in a way that will not wholly be human, if you want them to be human. If you don't want them to be human, it's all right. I like the example which Dr. Islam showed, where Parabruto is a human being who's playing a robot. So his gestures and his postures and his movements have that degree of artificiality. So I would say that creating a character would work in the commercial arena better. In the commercial arena, artificial intelligence can work brilliantly. But for really creative artists, auteurs, like Shotyat Rai, like Mrinal Sen, Ritvik Ghatak, Adur Gopalakrishnan, Shyam Benegal, G. Aravindan, and so on, that quirkiness, that madness will be difficult to inject. As I said, there is a pleasure sure in being mad, which none but madmen know. So for the really quirky, exceptional filmmaker, offline, it might be difficult. Imagine, say, a filmmaker like the Thai filmmaker Apichatpong Veerasathakul. If you see his uncle Bonmi, who could recall his previous lives, it's about a person who is communicating with the non-living. And this is interesting because here also we are talking about the non-living. And we have an Indian tradition of films like Ojantrik, written by Subodh Ghosh, which is a brilliant example of the communion between man and machine. And it is true that the pen that we use, the paper that we write on, the jacket that we wear, we develop ties with them. And as you know, the great Jagadish Chandra Bose was also working in plant responses. He was trying to say that even in the non-living, so-called non-living, he put it with inverted commas, there is some kind of life. That would be a more philosophic outlook. Dr. Islam also mentioned Derrida and ontology. And yes, human beings do leave their traces somewhere. Somewhere in this room, there is some trace. And that has to come out in Indian cinema, which it is not bringing out. We are unfortunately either aping the West or just using artificial intelligence as a tool. It is not just a tool. It must be looked at with all its complexity. And we must be also aware, of course, of the limitations. You cannot eliminate the human factor completely. If you look at the history of Indian cinema, when there were silent films, people thought that that was really great. When color came, people thought that silent films would completely disappear, but they didn't for quite some time. When cinema came, people thought theater would disappear, but theater continues. When 3D came, people thought that the 2D film would disappear, but the 2D film produced such masterpieces as Antonioni's Blow Up. So we are going to live in an era of coexistence. We cannot turn the clock back. We cannot go against progress, but we must realize that every step that we take in the positive direction will mean that there would be forces also pulling us back. And that's good because you require checks and balances. Now, the Indian Railways has one of the greatest networks in the world. And sometimes trains get late. We often get annoyed, but do you realize that it gets late because of these checks and balances? It's important to understand that. And therefore, we must tread carefully. Now, after Dadasaheb Phalke and the silent era, came the sound era. Again, as I said, when sound first came, Griffith was told by Lillian Gish, his major actress, that, you know, David, sound is coming so wonderful. So many more people will understand your film. They'll see your films, and so many people all over the world will, you know, be able to hear your films. And Griffith was not happy. He said that so few people will now understand my films. As long as films were silent, it had a universal language. The moment you bring in language, only those who know English will understand my film. So that was the kind of rider that Griffith put. And the famous theorist Rudolf Arnheim has said that the limitations of cinema give rise to its aesthetics. So the frame, the fact that you don't get something makes it all the more beautiful. So artificial intelligence has to come in with this idea that it cannot make a complete whiteboard. That will make no sense. You require the shadow to give that 3D effect. You require the chiaroscuro, which Expressionism brought in. And you need to understand that the various strands of modernism really brought in great art. You need a Scream by Edvard Munch to really get the Scream series. And as I said, as Dr. Mukherjee also pointed out, the dangers of artificial intelligence have been echoed long back in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. That Frankenstein is a trope for the creation of something that can come to gobble you up. That's always been there. And we have many Indian stories also which show this creation which can devour you. Or when you try to play God, it gets very, very difficult. In the sound era, after the traditional Alamara is supposed to be the first sound film, it's supposed to be the first color film, and also Adisha Ridani made the first color film also. But it's the first sound film. We had in the sound era the genres, they were happening in Hollywood, the genre studies, and we came up with some blockbusters. Now, when I talk about the blockbusters, think of Mughal-e-Azam. Now, I think artificial intelligence throws up the debate that a film in its original form may be very beautiful, but can it be enhanced if we add something to it? Do you think Mughal-e-Azam today looks better because it's in color? What would you say if I made Pathir Panchali in color? It would be a problem, would it not? The beauty of the film comes out because it's in black and white, because of the limitations. So also Psycho, if you see Psycho, you get frightened when it is in black and white. That original Psycho is the most frightening film of them all. And the echoes of that film is found in Satyajit Ray's Monihara, the second of the trilogy, which is also a very interestingly manifested film. It's a film in which chiaroscuro is used, in which the element of horror has been used very aesthetically, in which the strands of obsession come to the fore, a woman obsessed with jewelry, and in which Tagore's story has been given a unique turn. That's a landmark film in terms of its mise-en-scène in Indian cinema. And after that, there have been many films which have tried not to be two-dimensional. We have to be very careful when we use artificial intelligence that we use it in a creative manner. Now, this is going to be difficult because, as Dr. Islam rightly pointed out, the robots are programmed. You have to create the software. And I was saying that the Indian cinema is dependent on its folk traditions, which is very unique to it. Can you program these folk traditions? Because whereas in Western classical music, every note is written down. You have the Fifth Symphony, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, like that. But when a singer sings Rag Yaman, you can't restrict him. So how will you program something which is dependent on improvisation? That is the question that we must face. Therefore, why don't we look towards our own strengths, towards our folk traditions like Ketan Mehta's Bhavni Bhavai, like some of the Tamil films which are being done recently, in recent times, which are very culturally rooted. See a film called Super Deluxe, or see the films of Vetrimaran. You will find that this cultural tradition is very strong in Tamil cinema, and of course even more in Malayalam cinema. And therein we have the difficulty of incorporating artificial intelligence because the folk traditions are not restricted to any kind of a tableau or to any algorithm. They cannot be predicted. They're completely unpredictable. And it is this unpredictability which we want. Like if you ask me to define what are the three unique features of cinema, I'd say first, the movement of the frame. The frame itself moves. This is a theoretical concept. The frame itself moves. Then there's montage, which is the juxtaposition of visuals to create new meaning and effect. And third is movement within the frame undirected by the director. So cinema is the only medium in which the director is happy if something happens outside his control. This is something very difficult to cope with, and artificial intelligence will not succeed here. But where it can really succeed is in the use of the VFX, the graphics, the tremendous inputs that it can provide, the precision that it can give, because some of these art films also require great precision, and that precision is required. And if we are to represent the machine, Dr. Mukherjee mentioned 2001, A Space Odyssey. I would also like to mention Andrei Tarkovsky's Solaris. Sometimes you can look with wonder at a machine, repetitive art, the films of Manikaul, the films of Kumar Shahani, the materialistic cinema of Straub and Huey. You look at the machine working and you're fascinated by its rhythms. This could also be the subject of a cinema, can it not? If you look at our tradition of Kathak dance, the form is the content. It's not always a content which is expressed in form. This is where we differ from Western constructs. Western constructs define a piece of art as divisible into form and content. But what of that content which is form itself? A tukra in Kathak, when you dance, it's the form of the dance which is the content. Similarly, the movement of the machine, not what the machine does, can be art. Just like one of the great things of modernism was the reverse, that which was utilized as a utility tool became, art, constructivism, the hull of a boat and all that. So this is a new area which Indian cinema can take up, because Indian cinema can move into various different directions. The courtroom scene, which was mentioned by Dr. Islam, is fantastic, a very, very interesting concept and very well read. Imagine the courtroom scene in the film Court. You see the film Court by Chaitanya Tamhane, one of the greatest films made in the last few years. It talks about the fact that a Dalit person has been accused of provoking another or being responsible for another's suicide. Now, in such a film as this, which is so subtle in its manipulations and manifestations, where the camera's manipulative ability is reduced to a minimum, it would be best to leave it as it is and rather not interfere with the workings of that art, not bring artifice into art. Now today we have software like Movie Magic, if you know that. Through Movie Magic, you write a script in Final Draft. This is all through artificial intelligence. And then that script, you can have the computer write the script also from the story. And it can give you alternatives, different kinds of alternatives, comedic, it can be romantic, horror. I don't know whether it can do absurd or not. That would be asking a bit too much. But in the animation films, which I was doing for a time, I was doing the voice dubbing and all that. This concept of the machine revolting, in a sense, or going about its program and killing the person whom he was not supposed to. This is being shown. See the Jungle Kids, an interesting film, has been dubbed in Bangla and in other languages. So this is an area which we need to study in great detail. And I'd like to say, I think Dr. Islam would be a better person to say this, but judging the Indian conditions today, artificial intelligence will face a hurdle here, not because of the fact that employment would go down and people will agitate, but more because we don't have the resources to generate the software. Artificial intelligence is greatly dependent on electricity, huge amount of electricity, and water resources. Tremendous water resources are required. So we are not able to generate this software. the entire software is actually imported from outside. But if we were able to generate this software, and if you look at the traditions of Indian cinema, as I said, we move further from the Indian new wave with films like Bhavni Bhavai and Mirch Masala, Manikal's films, Sata Se Uta Admi or Uski Roti, and then go on to the 80s. And finally, as I said, filmmakers like Chaitanya Tamane doing The Disciple or Court. We require an Indian intervention to examine how folk traditions can be studied first. They need to be studied. And there was a theory, if I'm not wrong, students of science will know, called this theory of fractals, which tried to establish a kind of link between science and art. You see, the coastlines are jagged in a certain way. The clouds form in a certain way. Is there a pattern to this? The way the coastlines are jagged, or the way the waves flow, where the clouds are. And Dr. Mandelbrot in the University of Bremen, he devised the theory of fractals. And the best example or the best application of this came in the cosmic dance of Shiva, the Shiva Tandava. And I was associated with the making of one of these films, the Cosmic Dance of Shiva, very important Indian film made in the 80s by Devin Bhattacharya for Cologne TV. And there was an explanation to the way these things happen. So artificial intelligence, I think, can help us in a greatly enhanced manner to study certain elements. It can be a research tool also. If we look at the films that came in the 90s and 2000s, we somehow, after the demise of Ritwik Ghatak, we lost a great deal of eccentricity. After the demise of Satyajit Ray, a different kind of cinema emerged. Although Adur Gopalakrishnan and Shyam Benegal had the traces of Ray, but somehow they were never able to reach the heights that Ray was able to scale. And recently we had Mrinal Sen leaving us, and Mrinal Sen was the true maverick. I think he would have run riot with artificial intelligence. He would have embraced it. He would have even dealt with these themes in a different way. What better idea than a robot who has been accused of murder, executed, and then resurrected? It reminds me of the cinema of Miklos Jancho. You know, the materialist cinema of Jancho. Characters die and they come back to life. Because life is one great struggle where you have to strive to seek, to find, but not to yield, as Tennyson says. So that's it, more or less, from my side. I'll conclude by saying that Indian cinema, with regard to artificial intelligence, is still in its infancy. Firstly, because as Dr. Islam so rightly pointed out, the practitioners and the critics are looking at AI from a very, very humanist point of view. And you need to look at it from a post-humanist point of view to really embrace all its resonances. It's extremely resonant. Secondly, the entire debate is really a debate. It's so polemical. It's not just a question of people losing jobs. It's also the quality of art. Is not art something which is wholly original, unpredictable, dependent on the circumstances, the immediacies, the exigencies of the moment? This is one argument. If that be the case, can really artificial intelligence have a place? Or if, as Dr. Islam pointed out, the computer becomes a supercomputer, surpasses the human intelligence, then concepts like eccentricity, caprice, whimsicality could also be there in the machine. And that would be very interesting because, Ajantrik, as I said, that car is also very temperamental. It exhibits emotions. Let us now look for a world, and we need to change. The zeitgeist is changing. So we need to change. We can't sit back in our chairs and read the same play in the same way. Waiting for Godot has been there for a long time. And now we need to do something else, move on. So let's look at it from that point of view and try and think of cinema as dealing with something which is beyond its grasp. Let's move away from phenomenology, because phenomenology says that only things within the human experience can be within our scientific ambit. Let's move away from that. So that's my second point. It's very polemical, and therefore we need to take a very mature point of view to deal with that. We have had some very brilliant films in the very near past, like Chaitanya Tamane's films, I definitely mentioned. But of late, and this, I don't know, this controversial subject, the powers that be, center and the state, are often against knowledge, against science, against creativity. We are constantly being met with silence as a filmmaker. I am met with silence. What a brilliant presentation by Dr. Islam. It needs to provoke you. It needs to make you go into a different arena, a different realm. But people are mostly silent. It's very difficult. And our governments are like that. In such situations, I don't know whether they would embrace the myriad possibilities of artificial intelligence or not. But be that as it may, we must take cognizance of artificial intelligence today in a world where Indian cinema has traversed a huge path from Hiralal Sen and D.G. Phalke to Mughal-e-Azam and K. Asif's films to Shotyet Rai Mrinal Sen, Ritvik Ghatak, to the filmmakers from the south, Chaitanya Tamane, the great Malayalam filmmakers like Aravindan and Adur Gopalakrishnan, and today even a film like Sexy Durga, which is so controversial, is made into a great film. So that's it for me. Many, many thanks to Vidyasagar College for Women for organizing this exercise. I think it opens up many doors, the windows of the mind. And I thank my good fortune that I could listen to Dr. Islam, to Dr. Pradipta Mukherjee, who gave a very good introduction. And in the interim, I'm very grateful for that. And I'd request you at the end to see a new film that I've just made, which has the present era under consideration and its shadows lurking. It's called Hemonte Operando. It's selected in the Kolkata International Film Festival. See it when it comes. Hemonte Operando, autumn afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Ashok Vishwanathan. What an outstanding lecture. What a brilliant talk on artificial intelligence and Indian cinema. You have left us all mesmerized. Thank you very much. As I told you, my dear students, that with Professor Ashok Vishwanathan, who is a veteran filmmaker, an actor, a very talented actor, filmmaker, a film critic, and also a professor who regularly teaches at Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute and FTII Pune. You have the perspectives of, you have the perspective from the audience, you have the point of view of the director and the filmmaker, and you have the perspective of the film critic. So it was fascinating listening to Professor Ashok Vishwanathan. And though your talk was very focused on artificial intelligence and Indian cinema, but you gave us a very, very comprehensive view of, major Indian filmmakers from all over India. So it's not just the Bengali film industry or the Bengali, filmmakers that you talked about, that you also talked about Hindi cinema, you talked about Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam cinema, the South Indian film industry, and the Mumbai film industry. And you mentioned the author filmmakers, like Ritik Ghatak, Satyajit Ray, Mrinal Sen, had he been here, how he would have experimented with artificial intelligence. And it would have been really fascinating to watch how artificial intelligence would make a very different kind of cinema from Satyajit Ray, Mridul Sen, or Ritik Ghatak. Of course, you mentioned the film Mughal Azam, and you brought us, you took us back to the world of Mughal Azam. And you mentioned Adur Gopal Krishna. You talked so extensively about Mani Kaur, Chaitanya Tamani, and from world cinema. Of course, we all know that you have watched and extensively critiqued and published on world cinema, particularly. You have worked in detail on Alfred Hitchcock. You have worked on Stanley Kubrick. I have listened to some of your very enlightening lectures on Kubrick and Hitchcock. You did mention the film Psycho, the horror film genre, how it was reinvented in Psycho. And you talked about this, the color, the landscape. Suppose it's made in black and white. Even you mentioned Pothe Pachali, which is made in black and white, and so you don't want it to be remade into color. So yes, you talked about Psycho. I was remembering Rebecca, Alfred Hitchcock's Rebecca. You talked about North by Northwest, and you talked about Steven Spielberg. I can only say we were mesmerized by your lecture. We hope to have you back as our resource person. Similarly, we would expect Professor Maridul Islam to be back at Vidyasagar College for Women. And the two of you, we know you are very busy. And we thank you. We express our heartfelt gratitude for giving us your time and coming here today and being present for this one-day state-level seminar on artificial intelligence and Indian cinema, organized by IQAC Vidyasagar College for Women, Prabhu Jagatbandhu College, Howrah, and APC College, New Bangalore. So thank you very much to the two of you. So do we have anyone to deliver the formal vote of thanks? Organizing Secretary. Okay. So given the very shoestring budget that we have for this state level seminar, we have still arranged some kind of light refreshment for all our dear students and from students who have come from our collaborating institutions. So please stay with us. Please do not, you have been very patient since morning. On this winter morning, you have been very patient. You've come. I have some of my former students of Vidyasagar College for Women who are here today. I'm so happy to meet all of you. And now we move on to the formal vote of thanks. Wish the seminar to have continued for a little longer, given that we have two such brilliant speakers, but somewhere down the line, we have to draw the line. So girls and guys who present here today, please a little more patience. We have the formal vote of thanks and then we move on with light refreshment and we call it a day. Thank you so much for being here with us today. May I now request Dr. Sharbani Bhattacharya from APC College, New Bangalore to deliver the formal vote of thanks. Thank you. Exams are going on.
আজকের এই আলোচনা চক্রের একদম অন্তিম পর্যায়ে আমরা এসে পৌঁছেছি। কৃত্রিম বুদ্ধিমত্তা এবং ভারতীয় সিনেমা বিষয়ে ডক্টর মনিরুল ইসলাম এবং ডক্টর বিশ্বনাথন আমাদের ঋদ্ধ করেছেন। আমরা অনেক অনেক নতুন বিষয়ে আজকে দিশা পেলাম, জানতে পারলাম। আইকোয়াক বিদ্যাসাগর কলেজ ফর উইমেন, আচার্য প্রফুল্লচন্দ্র কলেজ আইকোয়াক প্রভু জগৎবন্ধু কলেজের পক্ষ থেকে তাদের অনেক অনেক শ্রদ্ধা জ্ঞাপন করলাম, অনেক জানলাম স্যার আপনাদের কাছ থেকে। শুধু এইটুকু বললেই নয়, এই যে অনুষ্ঠান এটা অর্গানাইজ করার জন্য আমি আমাদের পক্ষ থেকে এই তিনটে কলেজের আইকোয়াকের পক্ষ থেকে ধন্যবাদ জানাবো এই তিনটে কলেজের গভর্নিং বডি, তিনটে কলেজের প্রিন্সিপাল স্যার ম্যাডাম এবং সমস্ত শিক্ষাকর্মী বন্ধু এবং শিক্ষকদের। আরো ধন্যবাদ জানাবো যারা এতক্ষণ ধৈর্য ধরে নিজেরা বসে ছাত্রছাত্রীরা আমাদের আলোচনা শুনেছ। আর যারা টেকনিক্যাল পার্সন আছেন তাদের জন্য অনেক ধন্যবাদ। শুধু তাই নয়, একটা আলোচনা চক্র অনুষ্ঠান করতে গেলে অনেক বিষয় আমাদের খেয়াল রাখতে হয়। যারা এই আলোচনা চক্রের সঙ্গে একেবারে ওতপ্রোতভাবে জড়িত ছিলেন তাদের প্রত্যেককে আমাদের অনেক অনেক শ্রদ্ধা এবং অনেক ধন্যবাদ জানিয়ে আমি আমাদের বক্তব্য শেষ করছি। আবার ধন্যবাদ।